Good morning. George Ray with Associated Contractors, and I'm joined this morning with Josh Long from Butler Manufacturing. We're here this morning to talk about the Butler difference. What we want to talk about today is why not all metal buildings are the same. And we call that the Butler difference, Butler Manufacturing, pre-engineered metal buildings. We've partnered with Butler, and it kind of goes both ways. Butler is the best at what they do in pre-engineered metal buildings, and we think we are the best at what we do in construction in Northwest Pennsylvania. So what we want to talk about today is what makes Butler different from all these other pre-engineered metal buildings. A couple things about Butler that I'll talk about today is their versatility, their research, their product offerings. Butler's getting ready to celebrate its 100th birthday next year, so they've been around a really long time, and they've changed and innovated and created new products for the market, and they're the only pre-engineered metal building dealer that has a research center, which is pretty awesome. I've been there, and they make sure their products are going to last for a long time. So what I'd like to talk to Josh today about is the different types of pre-engineered metal buildings that Butler offers. I know there's kind of two different scenarios, the wide span system and the landmark system.
Right, so the wide span system is a standard metal building utilizing mainframes and purlins. The landmark system is one that uses a long bay system where there are a bar joist type member that we call truss purlin, which is manufactured by Butler themselves as opposed to ordering out from a third-party bar joist vendor.
Yeah, and what the usefulness of that is interior columns.
Correct. It reduces the number of columns and the number of frames in the landmark system that allows you to more flexibility for warehousing and manufacturing to create a better layout for your operation.
Josh, what's some of the features that Butler offers that you don't find in other pre-engineered metal buildings?
Well, from a structural standpoint, one of the things that we provide that others don't in most cases is going to be, we use rod bracing in the walls where a lot of our competitors will be using a cheaper cable bracing, which adds, the rod bracing is a much stronger member as part of the bracing system of the building. We also utilize strictly a Kynar finish for our wall panels and roof panels. Other manufacturers will offer either as a option or as their standard a silicone polyester finish, which is a lesser quality paint finish. So we only use the highest quality finish. And then one of the big things that we also use is going to be punching in our systems. We punch the purlins, we punch the girts so that the roof panel and wall panel will all maintain a modularity and for straight runs, which is something that is unique to only Butler.
I could speak for that. I don't know if you remember as a kid ever playing with an erector set, but they were all pre-punched, and you could only use the holes that were available to put it together. And when you did that, you got plumb buildings, you got level buildings, you got everything correct. And that is a unique feature of Butler, is that pre-punching to make sure everything is in a line. I think that's probably one of the best features out there in pre-engineered metal buildings.
It is certainly a unique feature to Butler.
Yeah.
One of the advantages to pre-punching allows us to use a screw bolt, which is much stronger than the pre-drillers or self-drilling fasteners that our competition tends to use.
You talk about that. We have some fasteners shown there, and you can certainly see there's a huge difference in the actual size of the fasteners that are in a Butler building as opposed to all of our competition. One of the other unique features of Butler is their rivet. Those rivets, you see them on the end there. Those are a large rivet compared to what everybody else uses. The pull-out force in those are extreme, and they really do provide added benefit to the owner as far as buildings staying together. You know, one of the big things why a person builds a new building is they're trying to protect something inside. And in protecting something inside, that means a roof system. And Butler has what I consider the premier roof system in the MR24. I know if I was building a new building, I can tell you right now what roof it would have on, and it'd be the MR24 roof system. Let's talk about some of the features of the Butler MR24.
Well, the Butler MR24 is a standing seam concealed fastener roof system that was developed actually in the 60s. So it's a system that's been in the industry for a long time, but it is yet to ever be improved upon by anyone else. So it's the system that Butler continues to use. Some of the features to the MR24 that's different than what other manufacturers do is going to be, first of all, in the seaming of the roof system. Butler uses a Pittsburgh 360 seam on it, utilizing a mechanical seamer that actually creates the weather-tight integrity of the roof system. If you imagine the top of a pop can that has the seam on it that's watertight, that's the same seam that Butler's putting on their roof system.
That would be this area right here. As you can see, that seam right there. There is no way any type of water or moisture is going to get through there.
Correct. And other features that Butler has in the roof system, with the clips that we use, the clip is designed to fit into that seam as well. So it's integral to it. It allows for movement of the roof system through thermal expansion and contraction. And with the fasteners that we use and the pre-punching solution in the roof, Butler can utilize one fastener as opposed to where other manufacturers are trying to use two. The advantage of using one fastener, actually the single fastener is as strong as the two fasteners that other manufacturers attempt to use, but it also allows us to ensure that the clip is installed straight. Utilizing two fasteners can actually allow the clip to get off center, which can bind the roof through in its expansion and contraction. A couple other features that Butler utilizes in the MR24, the rake trim that it fastens in to close off the ends of the building is seamed into the roof system utilizing the exact same Pittsburgh seam. It's not, our competition tends to use fasteners through the panel, which every fastener in the roof becomes a leak point. So by utilizing a seamed rake trim, it eliminates all the fasteners that are in the roof system. And Butler also utilizes a similar approach to the rake trim, or the ridge trim, where what fasteners are there are all concealed within the roof system, making it virtually impossible for any fasteners up along the ridge to leak as well.
Yeah. Here's a picture of the panel, and it's not always necessary. It depends on the width of the building, but when you have to splice two panels together on a longer span of building, Butler's the only one that has created this particular splice that can actually occur over top of a purlin.
Absolutely, and that's a great point.
Every other competitor out there has to put a screw down through here to splice these panels together. And of course, if we screw it over top of a purlin and attach it to the purlin, they don't get expansion and contraction.
Well, what other manufacturers do actually to cover for their laps is they move that lap anywhere between a foot to 16 inches up from the purlin. So when somebody's installing it, the weight of an individual on top of this rib will actually create a depression in the rib itself while it's being installed, and they're using fasteners to drive from the top to the bottom to draw a plate up from the backside, making it difficult to get a solid connection when they put this splice together. What Butler does is we put our lap directly over the purlin so it's solid, and as you can see from the plate we use in the back actually has studs that come from the bottom up, and then we utilize.
There's the plate on the back.
There's the plate on the back, and these are factory welded studs that are on that plate that come from the back side of the panel up through the panels, and then we use a lock nut on top. So we are fastening, we are ensuring that we get a solid connection point at each fastener location, and because most leaks at laps come from fasteners that have either stripped or did not hit the mark on the first go around. They felt solid at the time of installation, but they break loose later, and that occurs, a leak occurs.
You know, some of the other features that Butler has, it's a complete system. So, you know, we always tell people, hey, if we can keep stuff off your roof, let's keep less penetrations through your roof. You don't have to worry about it. But there's certain things that have to go on a roof. It could be an HVAC unit, it could be exhaust fans, and Butler has designed roof curbs and penetrations that, again, allow you to do that and maintain the integrity of the roof.
Butler has partnered up with different with curb suppliers to provide a curb system specifically designed for the Butler roof system. So not all curbs are alike. Some curb systems are designed as a generic curb that will fit on any roof system, but for Butler to warrant the roof system, they do mandate what curbs can be put on the system, because there are curbs that are specifically designed to maintain the Butler MR24 integrity.
Yeah, pretty great stuff. One last thing I'd like to talk about the roof system is, you know, today everybody's worried about energy. Energy costs have gone up, and we're trying to put more and more insulation into our roof systems, into our wall systems. We'll talk about the wall system in a minute that Butler has come out with, but the TBS system for the roof.
Butler actually has come up with a couple of different roof systems, all utilizing MR24 as the top layer of the system, but they're utilizing different insulation systems, and different products. We can achieve higher R values and U values in the roof system. One way we do that is with the roof clip that you can see there. We have 3 different size roof clips: a short clip, a tall clip, and an extra tall clip. And with the extra tall clip, we can get upwards of 9¼ inches of insulation, which will achieve essentially an R30 roof system. You mentioned the TBS system. That is actually a system whereas we put insulation down over the purlins just like we normally would, then we come back in with a sub-purlin that goes on top of that system, and then we roll out another layer of insulation, and then we install our roof system just as we would normally. We also have systems for rigid board insulation and utilizing deck underneath the roof system as well. So there's a lot of flexibility and opportunities to utilize the system that works best for the client's end use with the Butler system.
Yeah, so as you've seen, the roof system, as I believe, is a superior roof system to anything else out there. One last thing I'd like to talk about is, you know, you've got to put something on the walls, and Butler has a whole variety of wall panel systems, but again, I'm going to talk about one of them right now, and that's the E-Shadow wall that has come out again for energy reasons.
Yeah, the E-Shadow wall basically uses the standard Butler shadow rib panel or shadow wall panel that attaches to the girts on the walls. But what makes the E-Shadow wall different is we utilize a 6-inch block that goes behind the panel and actually acts as a continuous thermal break between the fasteners through the panel to the girt that the fasteners attach through. So those blocks are installed, which allows us to achieve a much higher R value due to allowing more insulation into the system. Those blocks actually also act as a standoff to allow greater expansion of the insulation behind.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool system. We've used it in the last couple of years, and you know, has provided interior comfort at a lot lower energy price to our customers.
Well, and one of the things that really sets Butler apart from the rest of the competition is within Butler's research lab, we actually hotbox test all of our systems, our roof panels, our wall panels, with various insulation systems. So everything that Butler puts out product-wise has been tested, and we can tell the builder, tell the client exactly what the R values are and what the U values are if that information is required. Butler's about the only manufacturer in the industry that does such a thing.
Yeah, that's true. I know I've used that information before to give to a building official who was doing a inspection and wasn't sure whether we were meeting energy code. And when I showed him the test from Butler, there was no questions after that. It showed what was needed. So I hope the presentation today provided you a little more information on pre-engineered metal buildings and the Butler difference. We thank you for giving us your time and being with us today. If you need more information, please visit our website or don't hesitate to give us a call. Thank you. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.